The Sun and the Star ended with a pretty strong resolution of Nico and Will coming back from Tartarus. So, what made you both decide to continue their story?
Oh, I,
I mean, there's a lot of answers to that, I guess, but I mean the silliest one, and the one that comes to mind anyway, is that as we were doing our first media tour for The Sun and the Star, I remember Mark and I just riffing and doing a mic check and just, sort of tossing around silly ideas. And I said something about the Minotaur and like he knits his own underwear. And where does that come from? And really, that was the small seed that
mhm.
bloomed into this huge and incredibly bizarre plant.
Yeah, just an offhand joke that my brain latched onto and was like, wait, but what if he shows up again? Oh my God, we didn't have Hazel in
Mhm.
the first book. Oh my God, what if she's, and it just was like that. It bloomed very quickly because I think from that, I think it was maybe within 3 months, I
Mhm.
had assembled most of a synopsis of a plot of
Yeah.
The Court of the Dead because the idea was so silly, but then also really compelling of let's revisit this character who was a villain in the books, and what if they're not a villain? And what does that mean if they're not a villain?
And so funny that the joke about the Minotaur knitting his own underwear sparked all this because that's one of my favorite parts of the book. And so, switching gears really quickly, this summer it was announced that Nico and his sister Bianca have been cast for season 3 of Percy Jackson and the Olympians. What are you both most excited about seeing these characters on screen, and what was it about these actors that made them stand out?
Well, for me, I mean, we saw a lot of audition tapes, a lot of audition tapes, as we do with all the characters. And, Olive and Levi were just so perfect. And when we saw chemistry reads with them, with the other characters that are already in the series, it just kind of solidified our sense that, oh yeah, yeah, this is great. Uh, they capture everything I would want about the personality of the D'Angelos. And I mean, I'm cheating because I've already seen, the early dailies of their work on the first couple of episodes of season 3, which sadly you all won't get to see for a while. But I can tell you, the trust that we had in them is well placed. They are amazing. And I was saying this earlier, but seeing little baby Nico in his military academy uniform at that dance in the very first scene where we meet him in Titan's Curse, just, I mean, I just wanted to cry. It was so cute and heartbreaking to see him just alone there in the bleachers. Like,
I'm excited. I think for me, it's just I love just seeing how people interpret someone else's work of art. And so I just want to see what Levi and Olive do. Like, how do they do
mhm.
this? How do they interact with each other? How do that's what I'm most excited for.
Yes. And obviously, season 3 is years before The Sun and the Star and Court of the Dead, but could you see Nico and Will having their own spin-off series in the future?
Yes, hire me to write it. Yes. Make it like a mystery show where they're like buddy detectives
Wouldn't that
who
be
are,
awesome? I love that. Like
oh
moonlighting,
no,
except
that's
with
actually
with
a very
Nico
good
and
idea. Maybe I should have said that out
okay.
loud.
Oh,
That's a
right,
really
because
good idea.
now, yeah,
We'll
yeah,
hold on to that
yeah,
to
yeah.
be
I
determined
mean,
later.
you saw what happens when I just mentioned the Minotaur's
I
underwear,
shouldn't
and
have done that.
now,
I shouldn't have done that. And I'm like, oh
we've
my
got like an
God.
actual like, wow. Okay, yeah. Anyway, we'll come
Yeah.
back to that. But could I see it? Sure. Will we see it? Who knows? I
Yeah.
mean, that would be so far down the line. I
We got
don't
to meet Will
even.
first.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that. And
Yeah.
then that's the problem with having all these books is that you've got a chronology to them. So
Mhm.
you can't really talk about Heroes of Olympus until you finish Percy Jackson. And that's going to take years if, knock on wood, we get there. And then, maybe we'll see. But hopefully I'll live long enough to see that happen. We'll see.
Course, of course. And book talk has become a huge phenomenon over the last couple of years. How has TikTok and this online community impacted your writing and marketing of your books?
I don't know that it's necessary. I mean, I don't use TikTok except to consume videos and save them in my bookmarks.
Mhm.
But what I will say, what's been really fun is getting this experience of sort of being welcomed into the Percy Jackson fandom, and then how frequently fans are tagging me in their very beautiful, sometimes very silly fan art that they're making on TikTok or their
Mhm.
little skits that they're doing. And I love that everyone's like, oh, you're like the Percy Jackson gay uncle now. Come on, Kira, we got to update you. Here's all the memes you missed. Here's all the stuff you missed. Like it when the funny part is I was like, no, guys, I was here the whole time. I did see all of this because I was reading the books as well. But I think for me, it is just, it allows me to still feel connected to fans across the world and getting a sense of how many there are. There are a lot. There
Yeah.
are just way more than I thought. So for me, I like that part is that I feel connected to the community because of TikTok in particular. Um, I really love it when y'all tag me in your videos. It's great, especially your Nico and Will videos. They're my favorite.
That's awesome. I think, look, I'm so old. I don't know for Tic Tacs or TikToks. Don't ask me about that. I don't know. I don't, I think the book talk phenomenon is fabulous. Anything where readers can talk to each other and recommend books and get attention for books that might otherwise not have that attention, that's amazing. I can't tell you from personal experience what that's like because I don't use TikTok. I mean, I have an account that I haven't touched in probably 2 years. I don't ever look at anything on TikTok, so I have no idea. But just as a general concept, I understand that it's big, and I think that's fabulous.
Hey. And so, Rick, you created the Percy Jackson franchise and wrote so many books solo. What was it like bringing on someone else? And Mark, how did it feel knowing that your writing was going into such an established franchise?
Well, I mean, for me, it was amazing. It was scary. It was a leap of faith. It was something I had never done before, collaborated with anyone on anything. I'm very much a solo player when it comes to writing most of the time. So I was really struck by how rewarding it was and what was possible in collaboration that I don't think I had ever considered before. And that sometimes, yes, two voices are better and do add more to a story. And it was really important to me that if I were to do this, it would feel to both of us like it was an equal partnership. Now, it wasn't just, you know, me saying, "Here, go write this for me, and I'll put my name on it." No, it needed to feel like a real team effort, and I loved it. And well, I mean, I guess you can tell that because we did another book.
I'm glad you actually said it was scary because it was scary at first. I think coming from the outside perspective, and here's a series I love and have read multiple times, and now I have to write for what? What do you mean? No, no,
Mm,
no, 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 no. And I remember even I don't even know if you know this. This is how you're to find out. I wrote the audition papers, I think it was like the first 10,000 words or so of it
mm,
in like 48 hours with no sleep because I didn't need to do that. By the way, was not asked to do that, but it was just this thing of like, I have to get this right. I'm thinking like, how do I talk about this? How I do this? And I was so riddled with anxiety because I both knew how huge this was to be offered it, but I also was like, I want to do this right. I want this. I want it. I want to do
mm,
this. And so even after, you know, getting the call that this was happening, and then as we started collaborating, there was still this anxiety. I like how you put it, Brent, about Rihanna, like your writing is now going to be seen by, it wasn't that there was no crossover. There were some Percy Jackson fans who had read my work, but it was like, oh, now a
mm,
lot of them are going to. And it is strange. It's a strange thing to write a book and be like, it will automatically have a lot of readers. I wasn't used to that experience. And it was nerve-wracking at first, but at a certain point I just had to let go and like do the book that I wanted to do and do the book that Rick wanted to do and find that sweet spot between how we both write, which actually is fairly similar. We write from very detailed outlines and then draft. So we had this really interesting synergy in how we wrote. But at a certain point, I had to not think about who was reading it in as much as like, I don't want to think, oh, is every fan gonna like every single word? No, just
Mm,
write it, get it done, do what you think, is going to be entertaining and enriching and exciting. And so yeah, at a point I got over it. And I would say I didn't have those fears this time around. I was like, oh no, I've done this before. I now know what I'm doing. And so I did not feel as anxious writing Court of the Dead.
That's so exciting. And for speaking of Core of the Dead, you guys, I have, or both you both have previously described as it being Nico and Will go to the circus, and all the mythics and monsters have quite quirky personalities. How did you come up with them? What was the thought process behind that?
Oh, you're also seeing us being asked these questions for the first time. We don't
mm,
have like ready answers to go. I think the idea, a lot of them came from my initial pitch, and then we sort of fleshed them out. But the idea was we wanted, um, if this made sense, monsters who were different from monsters. And saying that even in the world of monstrosity, there is also variance, and they don't all act the same and they don't all behave the same. And so it was, what are the ways that we can represent that on the page? And so in some of the cases, maybe the mythics don't behave like others do. And in other cases, it was making sure we ran the gamut of having these new characters be adorable, cute, to maybe not cute, not adorable at all, to one of them being like, I don't know what you're doing at all because I can barely see you. I don't know what is happening with you at all. And so trying to make it so that they were each as distinct as possible.
mm, mm. I'm just gratified that you thought there was a thought process. Thank you.
It's
Of
all
course.
vibes. Just all vibes. They are mostly vibes.
I love that. They all have immaculate vibes, in my opinion.